Hey friends, it's Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to continue working with addition, but we're going to work on something new. So our learning goal for today says, I can add up to 4 addends. And friends, an addend is just one of the parts that you're adding together. So one of the numbers. So you add numbers together, or you add addends together to get the sum or the total. So we're going to be talking about how we can add 4 numbers together as we're going through. Okay? Whew, it's going to be some craziness, but I know you guys are going to do awesome. So let's look at the materials that you'll need. Just your dry erase board for today. So make sure you have that before we get started. All right, friends. So we can use mental math to help us solve our problems today. Mental math, friends, is where you're trying to be able to solve math maybe more in your head and then writing it down. Now, for part of our lesson today, we are going to write some numbers down just because it's a lot to store in our head all at one time, but we're going to be adding some numbers in our head. And when we do that, we're going to look for ways that we can make 10. Ta-da, right? Because we know ways to make 10. Like 1 and 9 make 10, 8 and 2 make 10, 3 and 7 make 10, 4 and 6 make 10, 5 and 5 make 10. So we know lots of ways to make 10. So we're going to be looking at our numbers to see how we can make 10 with our numbers to help us add easier and do mental math in our head. So let's start with this problem. So here we have 3 plus 7 plus 6. That's 3 addends. 3 is an addend, 7 is an addend, and 6 is an addend. Well, when I look at these 3 addends, what numbers can I combine to make 10? So do any of those numbers, if I add just 2 of them together, make 10? Let's think about that for a minute. Do any of those numbers, if I combine 2 of them together, make 10? Yeah, they sure do, right? If I look at these, I can see that 3 and 7 make 10. That's mental math. I just did that in my head. I didn't draw a picture of 3 and 7 and then count them. I just knew that 3 plus 7 equals 10. Or 7 plus 3 equals 10. Same thing, right? You can flip-flop those numbers when you're adding. So now when I look at this problem, I can turn it into 10 plus 6. Well, that's a way easier problem for me to be able to add than 3 plus 7 plus 6. I made that 10 first, and now I just have to add the 6. So 10 plus 6 equals 16. So that was so much easier for me to solve. I don't know about you guys, but instead of doing 3 plus 7 plus 6, I'd rather do 10 plus 6. It's easier. All right, let's look at another one. So here we have 3 plus 7 plus 6, same problem that we just did, but now look at what I'm going to turn it into. 23 plus 27 plus 16. Those numbers look kind of similar, don't they? What do we notice that's the same about all of these numbers? From our first problem with 3 plus 7 plus 6 to our second problem of 23 plus 27 plus 16. What do you notice about those? Yeah, the ones is all the same, right? So I can use what I did with 3 plus 7 plus 6 to help me with these. Okay, so we're going to solve this problem using mental math. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I want you to try and group those numbers just like I did. So remember we did 3 plus 7 equals 10. So now I want you to try and see how you can break apart some of those numbers to be able to add them. Okay, so give it a try on your own. But what I will say, friends, if you're stumped and confused by this, it's okay, just click play because I'm going to go over it with you. I just want to see what you can kind of think about this on your own first, okay? So try and solve it and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, let's take a look at this one because it's tricky. So there's more than one way to solve this problem. So as long as we're getting the same answer at the end, that's all that matters. Okay, everybody's mental math might be a little bit different, but this is how I looked at this problem. Okay, so I looked and saw, oh, there's a 3 and a 7. Well, I know that 3 plus 7 equals 10. Okay. I'm going to put a check mark on top of these numbers. Why do you think I might put a check mark on these numbers? Yeah, it's so I don't forget that I already found and used those numbers in part of my solution, okay? I sometimes get confused when I'm doing my mental math, so if I put that little check mark on top, I know that I don't have to add that number again. Well, now I'm going to switch and I'm going to look at these two tens right here, right? Or sorry, the 2 in the 23 and the 2 in the 27. Well, those are both two tens, so that's 20 plus 20. So I can do that pretty easy, right? 20 plus 20 is 40. So now I got to put those checks on top, right? So I don't do that again. Well, now I'm going to combine here my 10 and my 40. Okay, so 10 plus 40 equals 50. Well, I'm not done yet because I have that whole 16 up there. So now I'm going to combine my 50 and that 10 that's up there. Well, 50 plus 10 is 60, right? Well, I'm not finished yet, right? I have to do that 6. He doesn't have a check up there. So now I'm going to do 6 plus 60, or 60 plus 6, which is 66. Now, I know that might seem like a lot of steps, and we wrote down a lot of things. But in mental math, you might not need to write down all of those things that I did. I wanted to write those down so you could see where my numbers were coming from as I was adding them. Okay? So, 23 plus 27 plus 16 equals 66. All right, friends. So look, we just solved this problem before. Then we solved this problem. Now we're going to take a look at this problem. So if we look, we noticed that when we went from the first problem to the second problem, we added tens to it, right? So how is this new problem the same as and different from the first two? So what do you guys think? Right, well, the ones, right? The ones are all the same, okay? And then, oh, there's 100, right, in that last problem in 123. But look, friends, we could break apart the 123 into like 100 plus 23. Then it's like the same problem as the second one. Ooh, that's kind of interesting way to look at that. Okay, so we're going to solve this problem using mental math. Okay, I'm not going to have you guys do it, so you don't have to pause yet. Let's talk about it. Okay, so here's my problem. So I have a 3 and a 7. I know those make 10, right? Okay, so this time I'm going to write a little bit less, so you got to pay close attention as I explain it. Okay, so this time I'm just writing down the answers of the numbers that I'm talking about. So 3 plus 7 is 10. Again, check those off so I don't add them again. I'm going to add in my tens, right, in the first two addends. So 20 plus 20 is 40. Check them off. Now I'm going to add in this extra 10 over here. Okay, check it off. Now I'm going to add in the 6. Check it off. Oh, I'm not done yet, right? I almost forgot this 100 over here. Good thing I put those check marks up there so I don't forget. So now I know that 100 is the value of the 1 in the hundreds place. So now I'm going to add these together. Okay. Now, if I look here, I have 10 plus 40, which is 50. Now I'm going to add 10 more to 50. So 50 plus 10 is 60. And 60 plus 6 equals 66. And now I have to add that 100. So 66 plus 100, oh, that's easy, right? It's just 166. So 123 plus 27 plus 16 equals 166. So notice how this time I wrote out less on my paper. I did more of the talking out loud. So that's what you guys are going to do for these next set of problems, is you might not have to write out all of the adding that you're doing. You can do that in your head, but you might want to write the total like I did, just so you don't get confused and forget to add something again. Okay? All right, so we're going to solve this problem using mental math. So 2 plus 8 plus 5. So I want you guys to pause the video, solve that problem, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. So here it is, 2 plus 8 plus 5. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Okay, so when I look at these, I see, well, I know that 2 and 8 make 10, right? So then this problem to me turns into 10 plus 5. Well, that's easy. 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay, so hopefully you guys got it that way. Now you could combine like 8 and 5, but that doesn't really make a 10, so that's a little bit harder. You could do 5 and 2, but that doesn't make a 10 either. So always look for ways that you can make a 10 to make it easier for you guys to be able to add, especially add in your head. All right, here's another one. So we have 32 plus 28 plus 45. And friends, if you didn't notice, we have 2 plus 8 plus 5. Well, look here. There's my 2 in the ones place, there's my 8 in the ones place, and there's my 5. So use that way that we just did to make that 10 easier for you to be able to add this mentally. So you're going to solve it with mental math in your head. Okay, so pause the video, solve this problem, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, so here's how I solved this problem. I saw right away that 8 and 2, so I know that that makes a 10. So I'm going to check those off. Then I'm going to come to my 10s, and I'm going to just combine these 3 10s and 2 10s, and that makes 5 10s, which is 50. Okay, check them off. Then I'm going to add in this other 10, so 4 10s is 40. And then I have just 5 1s left, which is 5. So now when I come in to be able to add this, I'm going to combine 10 plus 50, which equals 60. Then I know that if I add 40 to that, that's 100, because 60 is 6 10s and 40 is 4 10s. So 6 10s plus 4 10s equal 10 10s, and I know that 10 10s equal 100. So now all I have to do is add my 5. So I had 100, and I'm adding 5 for it. So it's 105. So 32 plus 28 plus 45 equals 105. All right. All right, so let's solve this problem using mental math. Whew, this is where it's going to get a little tricky. This time we're adding 4 addends for this. 4. Okay, I want you guys to try and solve this problem using mental math. So remember, we're looking for ways to make a 10. So pause the video, solve 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 7, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Okay, so here's how I solved this. Well, I looked and I saw 1 and 9. I know that that makes 10. And then I saw again that 3 and 7. Well, I know that makes 10. So this problem is 10 plus 10. What's 10 plus 10, friends? Yeah, it's 20. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but taking 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 7 and turning it into 10 plus 10 was so much easier. So we're looking for those ways to make it so we can add in our head. Love it. All right. Whew. We have 4 addends. But if we look at this one, I see that 1, a 3, a 9, and a 7, just like the problem that we did before. So I'm going to combine those to make a 10. So 1 and 9 make 10. Check those off. Then I see 3 and 7. Well, I know that makes a 10, so I'm going to check those off. Then I'm going to just add up some of my 10s. So I have 2 10s plus 1 10 equals 3 10s, which is 30. And then I have, oh, check them off. Oh, almost forgot. And then I have over here 4 10s, which is 40. All right, so now I'm ready to add those. Oh, wait a minute. Someone said stop. Oh, my goodness. I forgot this guy over here, this 30. Okay, so I have to add that in there. Whew. Thanks for telling me to stop, friends. I almost forgot one of my addends. So now I can add those together. So here I'm going to look at this a little bit differently. I see a 30 and a 30. Well, I can add that really easy in my head. 3 tens plus 3 tens equals 6 tens, which is 60. Well, I know that this 4 right here, 6 tens and 4 tens make 10 tens, which is 100. So 60 plus 40 equals 100. And now I just have to add in these 2 tens that I have. So I have 100, 110, 120. So 31 plus 23 plus 19 plus 47 equals 120. So look, I grouped those in a little bit different ways when I added, but I was able to make those tens first. All right, let's take a look at another one. So these numbers are going to be very similar here. We have 61 plus 53 plus 19 plus 27. Start with looking in those ones place first to see if you can make a 10 to make it easier for you to add. Okay, so you guys are going to pause the video. You're going to try and solve this one on your own. Okay, make those 10s and then add in the value of the 10s together. Solve and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Okay, so again, I see a 1 and a 9. Well, I know that makes a 10, so check them off. Then I see that 3 and 7 again. Well, I know 3 plus 7 makes 10, so check those off. Then I'm going to look here at the 5 and the 1 because I'm just going to make 6. So 6 tens is 60. Check those off. Then I'm going to add in my 2 tens, which is 20. And then I have, oh yeah, don't forget this 6 tens over here, which is 60. So check that off. Now I'm going to add those together. Okay, the problem at the bottom with all those zeros is so much easier to add than the one on the top. So being able to combine and make those tens, whew, so much easier, friends. All right, so let's start here with 60. Well, I know that 60 plus 20 is 80 because I can say that 6 tens plus 2 tens equals 8 tens, and that's 80. Well, then I know that 80 is really close to 100, so I can add these 2 tens. So 80, 90, 100. So now I have 100, and then I just have to add in my 60. So 100 plus 60 equals what, friends? 160. You got it. So 61 plus 53 plus 19 plus 27 equals 160. Whew, that was a tough one, but you guys rocked it. Good job. All right, friends, I'm so proud of you for working so hard for adding up to 4 addends. This is a tricky skill. So just make sure that you're taking your time and looking at the numbers closely to find out how can I make that 10 so I can make those friendly numbers to be able to add in my head. Okay, so great job with this lesson today, friends. Please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends!